bro, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I always wondered, bro, because I know we've known each other for like a little bit of time now.
Yeah.
It always slips my mind. What were you doing before you became a barber?
Yeah, so I was working in a warehouse.
Okay.
I hadn't long left school. I had a little while, but I straight away hopped into warehouse work just for
Sick.
the money. Yeah, it was awful.
What made it so bad?
Do you know what it was?
What warehouse was it?
Waitrose.
Oh, really?
Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, the first few months is great. It's the, what's it called? Just the fun factor, I guess, of driving a truck around. Like, you're age 18,
And
first thing you do is just driving a truck around. It's great.
Just riding the truck
3
around.
months, the job is fantastic. And it's good money for like when you're 18, just come out of school. Really good money, but after a while, it's just the same thing all day, and you're getting up early. I was getting up at 5 a.m, getting to work for 6, and then in the winter, it's dark when you leave the house.
Yeah.
It's dark when you get home.
I suppose once you're 18 and having a job like that, you don't really get like a lot of a social life, really, do you?
No, it was great for to be fair, it was great for doing things after work.
Yeah.
Finishing at 2 o'clock. It was good, but tiring. Yeah. So you're up at 5, and you're still going to sleep. Probably still late, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Getting up at 5, and you can do a lot in that time.
Yeah.
But it catches up with you really quickly.
Yeah, I hear that. How long have you been a barber now?
Oof. A good while. Are we talking from when I was started training?
Well, yeah, once you started training, but I do want to know once you first picked up a clipper.
I first picked up a clipper in the first lockdown, as I think many people did.
Yeah, do you know what? We had loads of people ring us after they picked up their first clipper. They're like, I want to be a barber.
Yeah, everyone thought they had it.
Yeah, only some mastered it.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
Yeah, you know. No, it kind of just felt good.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I was terrible. I was really, really bad.
You still are. I'm joking. I'm joking.
But yeah, and then it was kind of just, I think being in a warehouse job where it's so repetitive and you feel kind of stuck.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a moment to go, oh, this could be something that I'll actually enjoy.
Yeah.
And then from then on, it just became like a serious interest. So I started pursuing it properly. And then obviously came to you guys at the academy.
Appreciate it.
That was from my barber at the time. He'd gone with the academy itself, but when it was run out of the college.
What was his name again?
It was Dan.
I think that was before I started.
Yeah. So that was...
Shout out Dan,
yeah. Yeah, so he said he'd done it with you guys at the college, but so I don't think he knew at the time he'd become like an independent academy.
Yeah.
But so I just Googled it straight away, it pops up.
Sick.
And just inquired, and then that's when you gave me a good phone call.
Oh mate, best phone call ever.
Yeah, it was amazing. Life changed.
Off you.
And yeah, as soon as I picked up that phone, you know that you'd sold me on the career.
Well, bro, it's not about selling. It's obviously something you wanted to do, or you wouldn't have done it, sort of thing. But
yeah, but it is like selling the career and the lifestyle. Yeah. You don't have to sell the course.
Yeah.
It's the lifestyle that comes with being a barber,
and bro, I think
sells itself. I think.
Yeah, and I think that's why a lot of people become barbers as well, just because it can be flexible. It's not corporate. You're not like what you would do in warehouse work, something that you hate. Like you meet loads of people on a daily basis. And I think the industry does sell itself pretty much anyway. And bro, hats off to you. I have to say, like one of our students who we still talk about to this day is you. Like Els, Dinny, the boys, they all say it. Like Jake Baker has proper smashed it, because I know once you finished the course, like you were in a few different barbershops, sort of thing.
I did, yeah.
Which obviously I want to hear about. I want to hear your experience and because I think in the space of a few months you're in 3 different shops. But bro, honestly, like in terms of work ethic, coming up, showing up every day, and really putting in the work and an understanding hair, bro, you were definitely made to be a barber.
No, well, you know what it is. I think it's the academy is an environment where you feel like you can just you want to go.
Yeah.
It's so welcoming, so friendly. It's like whilst in the time we were there, it's like a little family.
Oh, sick.
Obviously the educators, they're so sick. Like
the boys were alright.
So good.
Yeah. Wicked
so good. Sick
well.
barbers, but like even better people. It's one of those environments where if you want to learn, you will learn.
Yeah.
And it's just perfect for that. But yeah.
Tell me about your shops. The 3 shops, because the course, you complete the course after 8 weeks, and then you obviously went into one shop, and then I think you managed another shop, and then where you're at now. Tell me about the first shop. What was that
first shop? So I think the first shop...
Pros and cons. I want to know the good and the bad, and the dirty and the nasty.
Yeah, so the first shop, I think, was the easy option in terms of it was like laid out on the table quite early on. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I want to get in the shop, it's there, let me go.
I want to ask you a question and like give some points on that as well.
Okay.
But I'll let you explain.
Yeah, so the first shop I went into, it was dead. As in, it was...
Why?
It was... So, I mean dead as in, first of all, like, the walk-in rate was terrible.
Really?
Very quiet shop. So, for someone starting out, it depends what you're looking for.
Yeah.
I think, for me, I would have preferred to be hit heavy, hard, thrown in the deep end.
In the deep end, straight away,
and just learn the hard way, very quick. But
see, I'm like that as well.
Exactly. And I think for some people it would have been okay. Very quiet, less pressure.
Yeah, build your clientele over a certain amount of time.
Exactly. But I feel like, in a way, it kind of like slowed my development.
Yeah.
Just because I think the best thing to improve your hair cutting is just to cut hair. Constant
haircuts.
And so, yeah, it was an experience. The boys in there were great, to be fair. Like both young lads, good banter.
Yeah.
Really relaxed, decent barbers. But as a first shop, I don't think it was ideal for.
Would you put, like, from what I know, being in the industry, like I think 9 years now, because when I first started cutting hair as well, I was like, oh, whoever can employ me, I'll take that job straight away.
Yeah.
Knowing what I know now, personally speaking, I always say, do your due diligence, because if someone offers you a job opportunity, whether that job opportunity they're offering you 70% on commission, it might sound fantastic, but 70% of 2 haircuts isn't a lot.
No.
But I'd rather go to London or somewhere a bit more upmarket that's charging £40-50 or even £30 at 40%, and do 20 haircuts a day sort of thing.
Yeah, 100%.
And just stuff like that, and environment and shop as well. I always recommend don't jump at the first opportunity, even if it is easy, even if it does seem like a good opportunity. Definitely do your due diligence. I think, like you say as well, for some people it can be a very good stepping stone.
It can,
because it helps build their confidence over time and build their clientele. Yeah. But if you're like me and you just want to get in and start cutting hair, I think number one, don't take the first opportunity because it might be too good to be true. Or do your homework, and if it is right for you, go. And if it's not and you want somewhere, hold off. Like, don't be too, I want to take that job.
Yeah.
And then find somewhere like you did. The good thing I like about what you done, you went there, right, I don't like that, I didn't get stuck in that trap. Went here, right, I don't like that, I want to move somewhere else. Found another shop, right, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
So I obviously, with my first shop, I worked in 2 different shops, 2 different locations under the same name. Okay. So that first shop was very, very poor in terms of walk-ins and everything. And then when I moved to the other one, it was kind of the opposite. It was a lot more busy. Yeah. And I gained a lot of experience in the short time that I was there, just from the walk-ins there. So,
well, what were the walk-ins like?
Like, it was just good. Obviously, I think the most important thing as well is when you're learning to have a a diverse clientele, right?
Definitely.
So you can cut all different hair types because you're going to come across, even now, I'll still come across a slightly different hair type to what I've worked with, because although that person might be of the same race,
the hair texture is
different. Hair texture is always different, person to person. So it's so important. So it was good there to get that experience with a quite diverse clientele, but also just cutting more hair, cutting.
Yeah, but I think that's important because at the end of the day, because I know so many barbers who are cutting hair for like 10 years, and like an afro trim walks into their chair and they're like, oh, I don't know how to do that. Or a longer scissor cut. Like, you're supposed to be a hair specialist. A gentleman walks in with a longer scissor cut, like, oh, I can only skin fade. And it happens, like, people who are cutting hair 10 years, I just think, like what you said, massively important. Like, even if you have to pay to go and learn that extra skill, it pays, because when an Afro client walks through the door, or an Asian client, or someone with a scissor cuts walks through the door, you're not turning money out of the door.
100%. And I feel like, okay, I don't regret going where I went, first of all, purely because that was the place where I could make a lot of mistakes, and it's a cheaper haircut. So people aren't expecting as much as bad as it sounds.
No.
And when you're starting out, you're always going to make mistakes.
But
even to this day, you'll make a mistake, but the difference is you'll know how to fix it. Back then, you're figuring out, I've made this mistake, how do I fix it? But now it's kind of a lot more logical process. And you make a lot less mistakes. It's not as common at all.
Bro, that's what I respect about it, because you used it to your advantage.
There's benefits to it. Like, you can't just see everything. You've got to find positive to something.
You walk into like Ted Baker in London and start hacking people, like slipping under the comb. And don't know how to fix it. You're going to get sacked within a week.
So it was good for that. And it's an experience, and you can say everything you do in life, obviously, it's an experience, and you can always take something from it. Do you know what I mean? So, but it was the second shop. Wow, where do I start?
Yeah, eyes lit up on that one.
Wow. The second shop was a headache, and still is to this day. So I got offered. It was a brand new shop starting out, and the guy found me on Instagram.
I've got something very nice you're going to want to hear about this as well.
So I was like, okay, cool. I wasn't particularly enjoying where I was anyway, so I saw it as a win-win situation anyway, or I can't lose really. So I went, and it was like a manager's role, and obviously for someone starting out so early, that's a bit weird anyway. But I was like, hey, this could work, and if it doesn't, I can say I've given it a go. So I went there on like a guarantee, because I couldn't go into it just empty pocketed.
Of course.
I needed a guarantee to make sure that to cover my bills, basically. So I agreed on that, and I ended up staying at the shop for a month. This shop was terrible, as in, on a very, very good day, which was rare, I had maybe 4 haircuts on the best day, and it was just me in the shop. So that's 4 people walking into the shop. I had people coming in like bargaining for haircuts.
The guy who owned that, he wasn't a barber, was he?
No. Don't get me started on that.
What was he like?
To be fair, at the time, sound guy, and it sounds like he just wanted another business. He was interested in hair, wasn't a barber, was interested in it, thought about pursuing it himself, but ultimately it was just another business.
He thought it was just open a business, like a corner shop.
Exactly. Just whack it open and boom. And because of that, a lot of it was rushed. And you can tell, like, the seats, we still had the seats from the barber shop that was there before, and they were horrible. Squeaky, wobbly.
Not good for clients.
Didn't have, like, even little things like appropriate workstations. They were tiny, like IKEA plastic things. And your tools don't fit in there, your clippers don't fit in there. It's just inconvenient, and bits like that start to add up. And eventually, I decided to leave. Gave him notice, because I knew that he was losing a lot of money by having to pay me. So I said, look, I've been offered another job. I can work here for another week and help you out if you want me to stay here another week.
Sick.
I said, or I can save you a little bit of money because I know financially it's been a big hit. We're not making a lot of money. I can leave now.
You're not cheap as well.
Yeah, I'm not cheap. No, so I gave him the option basically because I wanted to be fair. Yeah. And he was like, "Oh, sure, I can't persuade you to stay." I'm like, "No, look, it's best for me and you if we just go our separate ways because I want to move on with my career and actually develop. And at the minute, this is just costing you a lot of money."
Yeah.
So I felt almost bad in a sense as well. But he asked me to stay the extra week. So I delayed the guy that I got offered for just to stay the week. Again, another dead week. Very bad. Really? Made very little to no money.
But do you know what? In terms of like knowing your product and knowing your business, like you can't just expect to open a barbershop and think, oh yeah, I'm a businessman, I know how to make this business successful, if you haven't a clue about the industry, the product, the business. Like the people who are most successful in opening barbershops are people who have been barbers. They've come from the trenches, built a team and opened their own shops. And it's just general product knowledge, just knowing what barbers want, knowing what barbers like, knowing what clients want, what they like.
Yeah.
And bro, it goes back to that thing of like jumping at the first opportunity sort of thing. Like it sounds good, but is it?
Yeah, exactly.
Sort of thing.
So like, I've spoken to a lot of shop owners now as well on that topic, and they hate it.
Oh man!
When a non-barber opens a barbershop, it's the most frustrating thing to them in the world.
It's like when an underground rapper goes commercial.
Yeah.
It is.
But yeah, because to them they've worked almost their whole lives to get to where they are to create a successful barbershop, and then one opens down the road where just because someone thinks it's cool, it's a trend.
Yeah, exactly.
And I understand that completely.
And but that's one of the problems with the barbering industry as well, because it's not a regulated industry. You don't need a qualification. You don't need like certain documents. All you need is public liability insurance. You can be any Tom, Dick and Harry and open a barbershop, which has saturated the industry massively. But on the flip side of that as well, like people who haven't got qualifications but are natural barbers, have the work ethic, it does open a world of business up to them as well.
Yeah, of course.
But mate, I hate seeing that as well, just because it just stifles the industry a little bit as well. And people think they can just open barbershops and it's going to be successful.
It proves, because nowadays there's more barbershops open than ever.
More barbershops than sweet shops.
It's frustrating in a sense because those people that have worked hard and long hours to get to where they are kind of suffering in terms of their walk-ins and their clientele like sizes because of these random people that have decided to open shops. And essentially not everyone cares about their hair that much to strictly stick to one barber.
On that, bro, people don't actually know what a good haircut is until they get a good haircut.
I didn't know a good haircut until I became a barber.
Yeah, exactly. It's mad. Like, what's a good fade? What's a good blend, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And also, but I in terms of like keeping clientele as well, the one good thing about them sort of barbershops the one good thing I like about them shops is if you are a busy barber and your clients decide to cheap out and go to a shop up the road, they get a bad haircut and they come back.
It's the best feeling.
It is the best feeling.
I've had like, it was like my first ever week at the shop I'm at now, and someone had decided they either couldn't get in so late that they wanted, or just to try a cheaper haircut. Yeah. They've gone down the road to another barber's.
They never do it again, do they?
And like, I've had a call from a mum like, oh my God, my son's had a disaster haircut. Can you fix it? And I'm like, I haven't seen it, but send him in. Yeah. And then, it was interesting. But
do you know what? I think a lot of people are going to learn from your backstory as well, just in barbering, just because they can see the good, bad and the ugly, and obviously how you can obviously get to a better position as well. Yeah. Because it's not all roses. Like any industry, there's ups and downs.
Yeah, but on that second shop, as in with the owner, he still owes me money today.
Really?
Yeah. So that's another thing to look out for is owners that aren't barbers.
Bro, even some barbers who are barbershop owners as well, because it's not a regulated industry. There's not a corporate process they have to go through on how to manage staff, how to manage people, business structures, business development, stuff like that, cash flow, sort of stuff like that, on how you can run a business.
Yeah.
So a lot of barbers who open barbershops, I hate to say it, they're not savvy and they don't know how to deal with people and run businesses.
Yeah.
They think that they can cut people short on pay and stuff like that, and it doesn't go well. It creates bad relationships in the industry and it gives it a bad name.
Yeah.
But then there's the barbershops like Braids, who you work for now. They know how to look after their staff.
Yeah,
they know how to run a business, obviously, which is good.
Experienced barbers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
Braids. Talk to me about Braids.
Yeah, so 3rd/4th and final shop. I love it, to be fair.
Yeah.
Do you know, with Braids, so it's Rob Braid, the owner.
Yes, right.
He's been cutting my hair for a while now. Even when I worked in the first and second shop, he was still cutting my hair.
Sick.
Yeah, I'd rather pay for it than get a free one.
I'm like that now and again as well.
100%. Like, the quality of the cut is just massive. So, so for a while...
It makes you look good as well.
Yeah, exactly. Props to Rob. But yeah, so ever since I started the course and we'd spoke about it, he said, well, once you've qualified, because we'd built quite a good rapport by then, we'd known each other a while, got along, said, just come and I'll see if I can offer you a job. And then from then on, I felt like probably at first, when I first passed the course, I still felt like it wasn't the shop for me to start at. It's a slightly more premium sort of.
I think
more
what you done was smart.
So I think it was, for me to join the time I did, it was the perfect time. I'd made a lot of mistakes, got a lot more experience, got a lot better, and you can justify that newer, higher price that you're charging because the quality of your haircuts is there as well. The
good thing I like about what you've done as well, you managed to go from doing a course, 2 months course, learn how to cut hair, get into a shop where you could make mistakes, get into another shop to find out what is actually out there in the industry, get into a good shop, and you've done that in probably less than a year.
Yeah, in very quick succession, but in a way, obviously it's frustrating because you feel like I should have had this good space from the start, but at the same time, I've learned a lot in that short period of time that I wouldn't have. So it's been great that it's not been all sunshine and roses, if you know what I mean.
I personally like when our past students, because we get a lot of students who walk into fantastic jobs as well, and then we do get a few students who jump at the first opportunity, and I like when they go through that because they see what me and all the other boys who've created the academy as well, we've gone through that as well, over a longer period of time, and it took us a lot longer to learn. So when we see you go through that, it's right, you really understand what the industry is about.
I think obviously from an outsider, you don't see that sort of thing. Because you just turn up and get your hair cut. It's only once you're in and around it fully, behind the scenes, you see what it's really like. And there's a lot of pros and cons to the industry.
Pros, cons.
Cons. Pros. It's the job in itself gives you a chance to be creative, for one. I've never been creative in terms of at school stuff like art, or like even writing stories. I've been awful. Always typical, like, you know, at the end. Oh, and he woke up. I was terrible.
Or draw a picture and just put a dot in the middle of the page. It's the world.
I'm a stick man kind of guy. So it's kind of the only thing I've found that.
And he woke up.
Yeah, exactly.
I use that as well.
But yeah, it's the only thing I've found that I can be creative in, and I'm, without tooting my own trumpet, I'm quite good at.
Yeah, bro, your trims are sick. Like your trims, in terms of technically speaking and creating shapes through technique. Bro, your trims are sick, and the creativity is there.
And it kind of. It's a job where you might not know how to do a particular cut. So a cut comes in for the first time. You've never done it before, never learned how to do it. But it's kind of, okay, I'm going to figure this one out. And it's combining stuff that you've learned previously, like maybe 2-3 different things that you've learned that are slightly different, but combining them, and then it comes up with that finished product that you're looking for, and it's such a satisfying feeling. It's so good. Other than that, the flexibility of the job, being typically in a barbershop, you're self-employed. I'd say the majority of barbers.
Majority of it, yeah.
So in that, obviously you agree with the owner to work particular shifts, and so obviously at the end of the day, it's still a business. It has to function and run with consistency.
Yeah.
But around that, if you need a day off, as long as in advance you can tell them, generally you can get it off. You can work slightly different hours. Yeah. And then again, if you want to go into your private clients or mobile clients, that's in and around what you want to do. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. Yeah. And you can do it when you want to do it and when it suits you, which is great. Yeah. You're getting paid, but it's working around your life. You're not necessarily working to live, you're living to work. Yeah. And that's kind of like the perfect sort of scenario.
That's quite sick.
What about you? What do you think?
Bro, honestly, that's why I enjoy being a barber. Mate, it's so much more flexibility. Like, especially for me, I loved being on an appointment basis because number one, I can charge more for appointments, and number two, my clients can then work around me, which I absolutely love. Don't get me wrong, there's cons as well. Like if you've got a fully booked day, and like it turns out you're sick. They can be some of the cons, and you have to go in because you've got that obligation to your clients. Yeah. But in terms of flexibility, bro, it's one of them ones that I absolutely love it. Creativity. Mate, unlike you, Andy woke up at the end of the essay. So for me, it's somewhere where, as long as I understand the fundamentals and techniques, I know I can create something off of that, if that makes sense, which is why I love it. But yeah, so that's another episode of So You Want to Be a Barber.
It's been fun.
Jake, it's been amazing. Appreciate it.